I'm more than happy to present our next speaker, Yana. Hi. And Yana has been our speaker for this 2 days, so now it's her second day, at the conference. And just my personally thank you, that you are joining us for this day. And I would like to tell just a few words about Yana, because Yana is actually a service and operations lead Europe, India, Middle East, and Mars, very well-known FMCG company. And also Yana has had absolutely great experience in total rewards in Europe, Middle East, Africa, for working, for Coca-Cola. Also, Yana has been working for Philip Morris International, and now Yana is based in Poland, in Warsaw. And we will talk with Yana, just about this wonderful talking, analytics for people, hybrid working, and new normality, or new reality, Yana, whichever way we should put it. So welcome, and just happy to hear and to be with you today.
Thank you. Extremely happy to be here with you, Anna. It was a bit unexpected for myself. I'm extremely happy to be here with you, and especially to talk a bit about such important topic about the new normality. Let's put it a new normality, and I will explain why I'm calling it new normality also. But before we jump straight to the topic, please let me share also my screen. Can you see it now?
Yeah, sure. If you just put the demonstration, that's fine.
Okay. So it works.
Yeah.
So before we jump to the topic, so first of all, I want all of you to recognize one amazing fact. Just have a look at our charts. So what a wonderful and amazing geography we do have. So what amazing experience we do have today. So different countries, different backgrounds, different generation, different people. So for sure, that is something that we need to use. And today, my biggest call will be to use the synergy of this group. That is why today we want to make this session a bit of interactive. We will try to take the space, co-creation space to bring new ideas and to talk about new normality all together. So my topic is pretty much connected with what all already shared with you. Yeah, so we will be going a bit deeper for the people perspective, while Al gave us a data perspective also. And that is why basically I call it not people analytics, but analytics for people. I will be tackling it just like in several instances to show you how we can use analytics for people to make in some kind of decision, helping to provoke right behaviors. We will be talking a bit about hybrid working, that is right now also a very common trend for everyone, I believe. And of course, what does new normality mean for us after the COVID time, with what all also told us. So before we jump straight to the topic, so several words about myself. And Anya, thank you for introducing me. So my name is Yana Martyanova. I'm living already for 5 years in Poland, and that's why I told Martyanova and not Martyanova. I already got used to Polish pronunciation, I believe. Yeah, and I'm leading service and operations team in our Warsaw hub in Mars. So we support here from Warsaw around 20,000 associates in Europe, India, and Middle East region on 5 languages. So overall, my journey as HR is pretty rich, I must say. So I was working more than 15 years in HR in global and regional companies. So I was working in Coke and Tele2 and Philip Morris and in pretty local Russian companies before I was relocated here. So I was working in the most HR areas. So right now I'm responsible more for business transformation, digital transformation, automation, HR automation, service excellence, and continuous improvement, and of course reporting and analytics. So previously I was also working in total rewards in Coca-Cola, and overall, my journey is pretty interesting, as I was also working in sales and marketing for some time, in startups. Yeah, so that is kind of my professional side. When it comes to my background, I have several degrees. So one, it was started very, very long ago, in beginning of 2000s in linguistics. Then I also got a HR degree. I had a kind of degree, a postgraduate degree in innovation manager. I have an international certification and strategic HR in Cornell University. However, it's all about my professional life. I'm also a proud mom of two wonderful twin daughters who just started their school because they turned seven like pretty in 1 week, honestly. Yeah, and I have two cats and a dog. So living again in Warsaw and enjoying the life also here. And also, when it comes to our topic, today we will talk about several aspects. So first of all, we will be discussing what does new normality mean. So we will be talking about the journey from old reality, pre-COVID reality to new normality. It doesn't mean that COVID and all these things will stay with us forever. However, many things that we have learned for these 2 years of exceptional situation will stay with us. So we will be talking a bit about the global context, people's struggles and corporate challenges, side effects for the business that all these things have. We will be also using our synergy effect as we discuss to discuss how can we transform challenges to opportunities. And we will try to create a toolbox for you and for you personally and for your business, again, how to use opportunity of new normality in our life. So a small teaser here. So we will try to have fun. It's all about mindset, out-of-box thinking, collaboration, and hybrid working. We will try to keep it light, and we should not overcomplicate our agenda just because, in our life is so much complicated right now. Yeah, we are missing this kind of a fun component. We are missing, to have a light agenda here. And what I believe we need to do, we need to put our people first, results will follow. And you also remember that the name of our conference is People versus Data. And yesterday, I believe, Anya also asked me, so that will be a fun conversation when we will be asking you, so where are you? So on people side or on data side? And my answer was that, of course, people, just because people make data, people work with data, and finally, people are your main assets because they are driving business. Yeah. So it's also about how to smartly work with data, as Elle told before. And just as I mentioned, as we want to have a bit of a fun, so let's start with fun. So let's start with quick and emotion check. Which dog are you today? How do you feel today? How do you feel from emotion standpoint? Choose your number, share it with the chat. I personally, let me share also how do I feel. Honestly speaking, I feel as dog number 7. You know why? Because so many things is happening in our life simultaneously. Yeah. So in personal life, in work reality, in my family, in my family environment, so many things is happening. But what is important also here, I told you that I have a dog. So I know that the dog that is running here, she enjoys this run. And I encourage you all to enjoy the journey. And also, it's also a bit of about well-being. And I saw lots of comments also in chat. 1, 5, 7, 8, 7. Oh, many 7s I see. So we have 9s, 3, 2. So I believe our emotions are pretty high, and thank you for it. So let's just keep the energy level on a high, because the topic will be also a bit complex. So moving to a global context. And we also discussed it a bit today. So now I just want to summarize what we observe and working also in the global companies across the world. And in Mars, we have more than 7,000 associates globally. So in Coke, we had like lots of people working for Coke also. And we are always in close connection with the global leads just to discuss how we observe and how we react on the new normality now, and what do we feel. So global context is very, very much known to you. 18 months of remote working. Yeah. So, and I believe you also remember how it started. And then first it was a kind of, wow, I have an extra 1.5 hours of sleep. So it's amazing. I will be working from home constantly. I will enjoy it. I will have more time for myself. So what I also met in several months after it started, oh my gosh, I'm not able to work from home. I'm so much tired. So I just have I have the same wall, the same background. So everything is still the same, and all my activity, happens when I'm going from my bed to my desktop. And I believe it's also pretty common to you. So several lockdowns here in Europe. We had a big, very long lockdown started somewhere in March, and that is ended in 7 months later. Yeah. So limited mobility, limited socialization. So you can socialize only with people who you live with. Yeah. So you're missing it. Ambiguity and insecurity and the news that are coming from different sources didn't help us at all. Lifestyle change, low possibilities to mid-term, long-term planning that also made our life pretty tough when you do not know what will happen next. Yeah, so you do not know, would you be able to travel somewhere? Would you be able to do what you plan to do or not? So everything caused constant stress level. And of course, all these things that were happening on a global context influenced on our corporate life. Yeah, so and what we started to get from our associates. So they were struggling from multi-focus. They need to be focused both on homeschooling and home working, and it's not easy. As a result, they had a kind of a lack of the focus time for themselves. So that was a kind of a never-ending story, to jump from one activity to another one, not have enough time to think it through. Back-to-back meetings, and I believe it's also pretty much familiar to you when you have a feeling that your calendar manages you rather than you manage your calendar. Longer working hours, at least, in your previous reality, when you were working from the office, you had a chance to to shut down your laptop, close it, take it to a bag, and then, commute to your home. Now it's not possible. It's kind of 24/7, always on mode, and you have to react. And because of this, you also have a feeling that you have a pressure to respond immediately. It might not be a case, but there is a feeling that you need to respond immediately. Yeah. Lack of clarity, what is urgent, because you started to get from your teams and colleagues and from everyone that everything is equally urgent, and you are not able to set the right priorities. So no small talks that you got used to. That's something that we are also calling like positive gossiping, so to have the small talks, small connections, to discuss something like close to the coffee machine, to bring these connections, in life. So people started to struggle with it, and overall lack of fun, because all our activity was focusing on this kind of very complex, very serious reality, and when you had to address and to fight with it. Yeah. And as a result, it resulted to low energy, that what also Elle was speaking about, lower engagement, and we also started to observe this lower engagement in different areas, and based on the surveys, and we also had a conversation with other leads, so they acknowledged the same thing. Damaged well-being and very fast track to burnout. That was something also that Elle also was talking about. So that is a kind of a global context. Yeah. So then we started to think, okay, so that is our reality. So what can we do with it? So what can we do for our associate to make them feel better, to improve their well-being, to think about them? Yeah. We were trying different ideas also, and we were brainstorming. So we tried to put some kind of mottos here. So care, clarity, and transparency. So everything regarding the clear objectives. However, if we summarize, so we ended up with 3 main focus areas. With what we can work. So first of all, that customize hybrid working for you. We need to customize hybrid working for our teams. So what does it mean for us? So we need to put people first. And again, so I believe you remember how many flares we had previously. Yeah. So what's our line manager started to complain, what can we do, how we can control our people, how we can make sure that they are working right now and not doing something different, like washing something, or cleaning, or homeschooling or whatever. And the fair answer that we cannot control it. However, we should not control what they are doing and the exact point of time. It's more about getting clear what they need to deliver, yeah, and what we expect from them, yeah. And generally speaking, we also ended up that we need to put the people first, and then results will follow. And that is something that we observe like after the several months of full remote working. But of course, we had a kind of a gap, and then the performance goes up because people got used to it. Yeah. So the second thing, but it's also very important, I believe, for everyone, we decided to reconsider and create a certainty around the role of the office. Yeah. So office now is not the space where our desk is. It's a space for fun and collaboration. Yeah. We also need to set an expectations around the presence time, if there is a need to set this kind of an expectations. Yeah. So when do we need to go to the office and what for? Yeah. So we were thinking also about rebalancing time to right activities to prevent long hours and protect focus time. And that was also about how to utilize the beauty of asynchronized working, yeah, and how we can also use different tools to make sure that what we need to do, like in asynchronized and what we can do all together. And the most important thing also here was to keep it light, do not overcomplicate ground rules, make it very much transparent to everyone and follow people's needs. So that was the first bucket. The second one was about collaboration that matters. Yeah. And when we started to discuss it, we also realized one thing, and it's like, I believe, common to most of companies that we are working in. So our people are not very much familiar what does meeting etiquette mean. Yeah. So they do not know how to run and set and schedule good meetings, and we need to upskill them. We need to agree that no ad hoc meetings are possible without agendas, and no ad hoc meetings ideally not possible. We need to be very smart choosing participants and set up optimal length of this meeting, not to lose the focus, because we know how easy it's to distract, yeah, from what you are doing on the meeting, yeah. When you are getting tons of email, you are getting chats in phones, so you are getting some kind of calls from your family members who are sitting in the same place with you, yeah. So the second thing was to ensure that all our meetings are purposeful and lead to the action. And what was very, very important, I believe, also for everyone, we need to make our best to protect focus time. So at least we need to book some time during the working hours to let people think and not act. Yeah. And of course, we also decided that we need to ensure that we dedicate time for small talks and emotional check-ins. And like several minutes ago, I just showed you one of example of this kind of emotional check-in that helps you a lot, you know, to understand how your people feels. Yeah. So it's kind of a fun way, you know, to build a connection and also get back to new normality when you are talking about it, when you are talking about, not about, you know, actions, not about work, not about deliverables, but you are talking about people. Yeah. And the third bucket was about choosing your own way and channel how do you work. And honestly speaking, it also was more about, you know, mission, vision, purpose, and clear objectives. So we need to create clarity around what is urgent and what is not urgent. And here, you know, this kind of data that we were talking about with Elle is very important. So how can we visualize our key KPIs? How can we make a sense check what is important now? So how can we keep the track? Yeah, and to keep everyone on the same page. Yeah. So we also were working on, you know, reducing the pressure to always respond immediately and agree on the ground rules how we should respond. So if a mail comes to your mails box, you should not respond in a minute. Yeah, so you can take your time, and what is this time, response time? So that is something that you need to decide on your own level. Yeah. So, and also it helps to reduce the feeling that you are 24/7 always on. Of course, role modeling helps here. So I'm not also a good example of this, honestly speaking, but that is something that, of course, we need to do. Yeah, because sometimes it's very difficult to switch off, but we need this switch off. Otherwise, it's the fast track to burnout. Yeah. And of course, we need to evolve and try new approaches, leverage different tools, and challenge the norms that we had previously. And what we also realized that what the most important thing is to try to agree on flexibility on personalized working hours, because we have different biases. Yeah, and we can so one can be effective at 7 a.m. when another one is not functioning at all at 7 a.m. and he better works at 11 p.m. for example. And that is something again about the balance, because synchronized and asynchronized work. So just a short summary. So the most important thing here, so that we are making a switch from working from home to working from wherever. So now it's not necessarily home, it can be whatever. Yeah, it can be from time to time, it can be a train, it can be, the house, the country house, it can be the plane if you are traveling, so whatever. Yeah, so it's about using the office and using the office space for fun and collaboration. It's about put people first, because they are main assets and they drive your business. And, when people are asking me, when we get back to normal, so no way, there is no way to previous normal. So we are building this normal together. Yeah. Just also as a summary. And also, moving a bit forward, and I will give you a bit of example about analytics for people. So please do not try to read everything that you have on these slides. Yeah, so that is just a snapshot. Sorry, snapshot from the site that we are using here in Mars to upskill employees and get them ready for new normality. That is thing that is analyzing your work habits. Yeah. So as we discussed, so we identified several areas that are most important for Mars, to keep a good well-being and to stay focused. So we realized that we need to somehow provoke thinking how people use their time, so what they are doing. And we know that all our tools that we are working with, they're collecting also some kind of a big data and personal data. They're collecting it, they're analyzing it. So if they're collecting, then somehow we can use it. And that is an example, what it shows you on a weekly basis, how you are behaving on your work environment. So it shows you, so if you were able to focus, yeah, so during the day, yeah, so basically it means, so if you have at least 1 hour when you were not distracted, yeah, so if you were able to keep a quiet days, like usually it's weekend and bank holidays, or you were distracted also on the weekends. So the same for working hours. It also shows you some kind of your patterns, how you run your meetings. So when you schedule it, so if you are using the meeting etiquette, so how often you send ad hoc meetings, so how often you are distracted during the meetings and some other stuff like this. Yeah. So it also shows you the your collaboration network, and the most time you spend with whom you spend most of your time. And sometimes it's also give you some insights, like for example, you are spending like 4 hours on the meeting this week with one of your peers. So is it mandatory for you to be there all together, or you can somehow rebalance it? Yeah. So overall, that is a kind of an analytic that are available for our associate that gives some kind of insight. So for you as an associate and an employee, to think it through. So what are you doing on a daily basis? So how can you improve your behavior patterns? How can you make your meetings more effective? How can you manage your well-being? So what should you do with your focus time, to have it at least, 2 hours a day? So all these things right now is possible, and, it's easy to extract and to manage. Yeah. So that is a kind of an example. Please also, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the chat. I will be more than happy to respond. Yeah. So that is about analytics. So as I mentioned, today we want to use the synergy effect to discuss how we can build new normality altogether. I think each of you are pretty much familiar with the change curve. And we know that when something is changing and you need to do something in a different way or something happens, you are always on this curve that starts with the shock. Oh my gosh, why it happens? Then, with denial. So, oh no, it shouldn't happen with me. I cannot accept it. So it will go away. So I cannot work with it. So I will just wait and it will go itself. Then frustration, because it's still ongoing. Then usually depression, when you feel, oh my gosh, that is not something that I can manage with. That result in low mood, low energy, and low engagement, of course. And then if you try, to see some kind of opportunities here, so you go to experiment phase. When you said, okay, so it stays already for a long time. I do not believe that many things will change. So maybe we can experiment here what we can do with it. So what kind of opportunity it gives us. And that is a kind of a brainstorming session and reflection session for you personally, what this change finally will bring to you personally, to your business, to your environment. Yeah. And my call is, let's move here right now, no matter on what stage you are. Yeah. Where do you are personally right now? Let's try to move here all together and brainstorm a bit. What can we get from the new normality? Yeah, we will use our synergy to create ideas for our personal toolbox, and it will be personal toolbox, for us, like the people, and for our business. And now we are inviting you also to the discussion point. And Anya, if you do not mind, I will ask you to help me to facilitate it. So because unfortunately we are not able to use our mics and we are not able to speak, but we want to utilize the chat. We have only 3 reflective questions for you, and we will try to collect ideas from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, Yana. I think that you can, if you can read the English chat, then I can actually answer all the questions from the Russian chat, because we have like 2 audiences. And meanwhile, we have a number of questions. So let's start with the first one, please. So guys, please write to me and in fact, actually answer the question number 1. Yes, Yana, so please write your answers in the chat. Yana, by the way, can you see the English chat? Do you want me to read it aloud?
I can see the English chat on one.
Okay.
If I can see the Russian one.
Don't worry about it. I'll put you through all the answers in Russian chat. So you can just follow English chat and I will do the Russian chat. So no problem about it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The first question for our brainstorming session: what opportunities new normality brings to your business? Think about it and please try to respond in chats. So whatever ideas come to your mind.
So people started writing like shortage of workforce planning, or like, I mean, I think that they mean the headcount, something like that.
Workforce planning. I'm going to capture it.
So then also more clients. People are telling us about more clients.
More clients.
Then also people are telling us hiring from wherever.
Access to the global pool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Then people are telling us, thank you, Ася, working globally. And Tatiana is telling us about cost cutting, by the way.
Well, it could be when it comes to
Mhm.
mental things and some others, yeah, and switching from headcount to the contractors.
Yeah, that's right. Then after the cost cutting goes less office places needed, savings.
Okay.
Also, we're talking about, yes, we have mentioned before, saving on rent facilities.
Yeah, and by the way, Anya, would we have an access to all these comments later on, to put it in?
Absolutely, yes, sure.
Amazing. Thank you very much. New opportunities for business growth.
Yeah, that's right.
Flexibility. Yes. New markets due to digitalization. What about Russian chats?
Yeah, they're just following it. I think they're just writing all the same. So we're basically in both parallel streams. So it's all about cost cutting, about headcount, about new clients. So all the same.
Not enough candidates. Opportunities, about challenges. Less business trip, more online meetings, cost savings, hybrid work, and more options for distant work, automation of process and minds. New projects inside the company. And yesterday, if you were on the first day of the conference, we were also discussing talent marketplace. Yes, so that is something that is happening, I believe, everywhere. Driving the regional economics through the higher taxes from remote workers with high salaries. Got it, yeah, big challenge, but I believe it's about candidates. On one hand, yes, that is a big challenge. However, access to this global talent pool gives you a possibility to hire outside your region and even country, yeah, potentially, and also to experiment with some kind of, forms of the employment also.
It's interesting comment though from Julia to use emotional intellect in work and more possibilities for inclusion.
That is something that we are lacking, I believe, yeah, when we move to the full remote format. So when it comes to, this kind of a human touch and people connection and emotional intelligence, so it was a kind of somewhere on the background, yeah. So that is something that we can use more, that's for sure.
Also, yeah, people are talking about more intensive communication and certainly greater flexibility.
Yeah. Okay, and from Russian chats?
Yes, actually they all go absolutely alone and
same trends.
Yeah, absolutely same trends from all over the Europe, because we checked up, where our audience is from. So like some people from CIS, Europe, so just go absolutely alone.
Okay, and I see the last comment, remote learning is getting the best way to get new skills. And that is kind of an amazing era that we are living in. So right now, all of us have an access to all knowledge, to the access to like the courses of the best institutes, universities in the world. So you have like unique chance to listen to courses in remote formats. That's true. That is a huge opportunity, I believe, for everyone. And you remember that Al was talking about one of the biggest, what we should, on capabilities that we should focus on. He was talking about learning, and we call it also kind of a lifelong learning. So right now we have an opportunity to have an access to all courses if we decide, to follow the approach of lifelong learning, because content, appears each single second. Yeah. Development of new skills.
Well, so Yana, but I think I'll answer that in the very end of our discussion, because we also have a number of questions for you from the chat, which is about your experience, your personal experience, and like setting up analytics in the company. So it also would be quite interesting to talk about.
Okay, so we will take it in several minutes. Okay. Thank you for this question. So as I mentioned, we will try to summarize and to put it in the toolbox, and share it back with you later after the conference. Yeah?
Absolutely.
If something comes to your mind, please feel free to write. So the second question, do you see any benefits on new normality for your business? So not opportunities, but benefits. What are they? So what you're already getting, for example.
Here also we have development of new skills and motivation for the staff.
Okay. Staff motivation. Okay, thank you. Benefits for the business.
Would cost cutting be, because people are answering from the Russian chat, so would cost cutting be the benefit as well?
Could be, yes. Well, I do not want to, position it as a kind of a cost cutting. It's more about effectiveness, it's not about cut it, but maybe to reinvest, to take it out of this and to invest in something that matters the most. Yeah. Cost cutting, but cost reinvesting.
It's interesting, the comment which Alisa gave us, the better acceptance of e-learning programs. So it's actually the new development for the learning tools.
Could be because now you don't have any choice. You need to use this one. Yes. Growth of business. Delivery service benefits the most. Company evolution in digital way. New technology used finally. Yes, I believe that is a big breakthrough. Yeah, so many companies were thinking, should they digitalize something? So should they go online? So right now they also don't have any choice. That is the digital breakthrough. That's true. Digitalization. Okay, thank you.
It's also about, Yana, Marina has just commented on distant work, which was introduced to companies, and so more hiring markets as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, and the last one for our brainstorming session, what benefits and opportunities new normality brings to you personally? Think about yourself. Do not think about the business. Put yourself first. What about you? As a human being, as a parent, as a whoever, what role is the most important for you? What it brings to you? More time with family. Oh yeah, from time to time we can be a bit tired of so much time with the family. Yes.
As I know, in Russia, like up to 60% of the Western companies with headquarters are in Europe or America, but obviously branches in Russia. So up to 60%, they are still on the home schedule, so hybrid working as well. So about that.
In Europe, it's even more percent. So I personally, I go to the office from time to time because I was also thinking how to reconsider the office space for my team. And my team is pretty much remote. So I have people located in different regions. So starting from North America and up to Dubai and India. So it's not necessary for me, to work with them from the office, but I also have a big part of the team based in Poland. Yeah. I just go from time to time, but overall, I'm working remotely since March. It's already more than 1.5 years. Yeah.
So there are more answers to the question. Quite interesting though.
Esports. Oh, that is amazing also. Yeah. So we are also laughing that how can we use like esports, and then we introduced yoga classes, and then we introduced some other stuff, happening online, and it works finally. Yes. Build T-shaped career. Flexible and hybrid working, more trainings, flexible hours, commuting to work in Moscow is it's time consuming. Yes, that's very true. Having an ability to work both from home and from an office. Yeah, so hybrids and hybrids to find out what exactly do I need in this life, and medical insurance, less time commuting. And Yulia, I believe that is something that I need to comment, and that is so true that now you have enough time to reflect what gives you happiness. What do you want to be focused on? So what are your main strengths? So do you want, to continue what you're doing, or, your happiness sits somewhere else? And that is very, very important reflection question that changes not one destiny, honestly speaking. And I was observing like several very unexpected career moves that make people happy. That's for sure. Less time commuting. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Just a bit. I also put here some kind of a benefits and new opportunities for companies that was recognized, I believe, on the global level already. So that's easier access to the global talent pools. And yes, so you already stated it also. Working across time zones, also very important. So previously it was very difficult, you know, to combine. So how can we work with the North America and China, because they do not have any crossing points, you know, when it comes to the working hours. However, asynchronized working helps, and right now we can see that we can do it effectively even across the time zones. So effective cost management, you also told about it. Focusing on work that matters the most, when you have to prioritize where you will put your main efforts, yeah, and you know the objective settings and how you formulate the corporate goals became like very much more streamlined, yeah. So personalized working schedule, and yes, so that is something that you can use yourself. Improved well-being, if you take care about yourself, then yes. If you do not really take care about yourself, it can be pretty much frustrating, because you will be always in a conflict between home working and homeschooling if you have kids, yeah. But generally, if you dedicate efforts here, you will have improved well-being, synergy from diversity and inclusiveness, that's what we are also discussing today, and different types of collaboration. So we discussed FTE, full-time employment, yes, so we were talking about contractors that are working with us closely, we were talking about outsourcing, so right now we can combine it, and it's easily being combined, yeah. So, and that was kind of our short brainstorming. As I mentioned, we will get back to you with the summary of what we brainstormed in our chats, both in Russian and English version. So thank you very much for your active participation. And the show goes on already. So let's just bring this to our reality and try to lead it.
Yeah, thank you, Yana.
Now we open the questions.
Yes, just absolutely great. Thank you for your insights, and thank you for interaction which you put. Now, yes, we do have some questions which we collected before when we announced the conference, some questions which go directly to your experience, and some questions which we actually collected now. So one of the questions is, I'm sorry, like if some of them are not extremely relevant to your presentation, but I'm sure that something goes like absolutely wrong.
We have time.
Okay, yeah, so we have like a bit of time, and having said also that Yana is from Mars and certainly have absolutely great experience with the in-house, you know, leading HR global projects. So certainly we should use this opportunity to talk about it. Okay, so anyway, what would you think for you best, actually? What would you advise for the employees to level their work-life balance as a HR professional?
Well, first of all, you know, when we are talking about balance, I'm not sure that there is a balance, honestly speaking. It very much depends on at what stage you are right now and where you are putting your focus. So if you are putting a focus on building your career, most probably your kind of a shift will be there. However, there are several kind of advices how to manage it. Like what helped me a lot, especially now, because I was working around the clock and 24/7, and it was tough. So I decided to put some kind of a pretty transparent ground rules. Yeah. So first of all, I have my personal quiet hours. So I do not respond on corporate queries after 7 p.m. So that is a rule. So I won't do it. And everyone knows that I won't do it. And only several people have my kind of private phone number, because I switch my corporate to don't disturb mode. And if, you know, it's a fire, they put me a message. And they know it. So both bosses know it, and my direct team members who need to have this private phone knows it. So that is the first thing. The second thing, it's also about, you know, having some habits and routine that should be implemented to your reality. For example, right now, as I mentioned before, I have twin daughters that just started their school journey, yeah, and I have to bring them to school and I have to pick them up from school. So that's like 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon. That just hardly booked in my calendar and nothing can change it. If something, even fires comes here, so usually I do not accept those fires. People know. If it's kind of a big fire, then okay, I will ask my husband, you know, to reschedule his agenda and work with it, but usually it doesn't happen and people know it. So first of all, you need to respect your borders, you need to put ground rules and you need to put your borders here. And these rules, it really depends on what are you focusing on for the future. Yeah, so how do you approach your life?
Okay, thank you very much. Also quite interesting question, are just talking about both like people analytics and well-being. So what would you advise, what would be the metrics to evaluate well-being, if it's possible at all?
You will have today a session with David, yeah, who will be talking a bit about it, about the matrix. He will be talking also about the analytic that potentially can predict the burnout and that can predict even, you know, potential separation. So, but generally when it comes to well-being, it's kind of an open question, how do you feel? And open answer, I'm feeling good. So if it will happen that person feels good, that well-being is okay. So you can put some kind of matrix there, of course. So, but it should be a human touch also here, especially if you're talking about your direct people. So how I can try, you know, to manage it, because we have also, you know, associate survey and engagement survey, of course. And, you know, sometimes how, you know, this associate survey managed, when, you know, people feel that they need to respond in like whatever way, you know, to show that the engagement is big one, but at the same time, he or she feels that he's close to the burnout. So in my kind of a small hint, so this kind of emotional checkup helps a lot just to feel your people, because it's a matter of how do you feel? I'm feeling well. So if it is kind of a true answer, then it will work. Yeah. When it comes to some kind of a definition and analytics, David will give you more about it.
Sure. Yeah, it's actually nice how like well connected our speakers and presentations, you know, so we'll see.
Yesterday I had a chance to, after the discussion about automation, to talk to him.
Yeah, sure. Okay, anyway, just about personal and touch, like people touch and people feeling. There is another question about orientation and remote work, you know. So do you personally like have troubles with induction and adaptation orientation of new employees? And if so, then how do you manage it being a manager? Or how does your company manage it?
You know, I have 2 team members who joined my team already after the lockdown. So I have not seen them personally. One is located in Spain, another lady is located in Germany. So I'm in Poland. I have never seen them in person. I was afraid how we will make it happen. Yeah, so we have a kind of very good thing that we digitalize a bit. It's something that we call onboarding hub with the very well documented also journey on onboarding, you know, with the speakers who are doing these sessions, also in answering the questions. So I personally have not experienced it. So however, my team, they are pretty, so they're pretty senior. Yeah. Independent, yeah. So we had struggles also on fully remote when we were working with the interns and young people, because they definitely need this kind of a human touch, and these were people who were shouting that they need to have a coffee pause and you need to connect close to the coffee machine. And that is why we started to implement hybrid working, at least, you know, to meet several hours in the office and have sessions on face-to-face. Yeah, so generally online onboarding can be efficient, but you need to put a close control also on the morale.
Great. Also, Yana, another question, but there, as I said, like there are a few from our chat, which was like put on when the conference was announced, and some questions also would like to share your experience with is, what do you think being a senior manager, so how to transform mindset of line managers to people management, if they think that it is not their job, you know, or it is like a HR job to deal with all these issues?
only role modeling, only a kind of constant education and upskilling discussions, different. Yeah, and I believe that is a common thing here. Yeah, and even there is a big transformation happening in different global companies where all HR operations and all this stuff, moves to the self-service when, people need to make some kind of an actions in the system to make sure that their team is getting relevant support. And usually line managers, not usually, but from time to time, line managers, they can, oh no, it's not our job. We should not do it. We don't want to do it. So Yana, please work on our engagement. Our engagement is lower and whatever. Yeah. So, and like the past 5 years, I'm working not as a kind of an HR. I was more working as an operation manager. So with the team, and honestly speaking, the only thing how you can change it, it's having a constant conversation and the role modeling. So if you care about your associates, if you care about your team, they will care about them automatically. If you are able to make this self-service and not come into your system that tell me, put the holidays in system, so act on behalf of myself, it won't change. So it's only about role modeling, but I believe it's everywhere in leadership. So how you will approach it for your team. So that is how your team will approach it to their teams.
I see. Also, it's a bit like, I would say global question, but maybe like you can share some answers from your experience. So what would you think, which are the newest HR tools and techniques maybe for employee well-being and retention during pandemics? Maybe like your company, Mars, has started using some, like maybe you've heard about some, from Europe and US. So if you just can share some insights on that.
And if we are talking, thank you, Anya, if we are talking about retention. So yesterday, we were also speaking a bit during the automation discussion about continuous also listening, yeah, and about the feedback. And today I also remember, so we had some kind of questions regarding the feedback, why people do not like the word feedback, so, and whatever, yeah. So how the performance process was designed previously, a kind of a classical way. So you have like twice a year, you have a formal meeting with your manager. So the first, like 3 times a year. So they in fact somewhere in Jan, Feb, you are setting up objective, then it's mid-year survey, then it's end-year survey. So right now we are working remotely. It's not enough. You need to have a human touch with them. So you need to have a feeling, how do they feel? So what do they think about their future? How they react on the stress level and whatever. So that is about constant listening and to implement a culture of whatever you call it, feedback, culture of continuous listening. So in Coke, like even 3 years ago, we tried to implement something that we called performance enablement. So it was a kind of an obligation for line managers at least once a month to meet associates to talk about them, yeah, to talk about their how they move with the objectives, so about personal life and whatever. There was also kind of a questionnaire and data that showed the trend, and it was also very visible that you see that person tells you that I'm feeling not well, and I was not able. So workload is something that I need to flag, that I'm constantly in 24/7 in 24/7 mode. So that is also about metrics, how you can predict it. Yeah, so referring to David, so he will be talking about it. Yeah, so what we were trying to measure, and so we try to listen. We have health and well-being team who are talking with associates, making some kind of surveys and share us back with the kind of a trends and analytics. And we are paying attention to people who are telling us. So we do not trust that we are going the right way. We do not trust that it will be better. So, or for example, we are overloaded, and that is a kind of a common trend. So it will help you to understand how your associates are feeling.
Thank you, Yana. Another question for you, which is maybe like a bit provocative, but still, what is in your experience the most used people-related data during pandemic, or maybe which data you've been using most of all, like from Mars point of view, and what do you think how companies best used it?
It's difficult to answer because, if I'm talking from the line manager role, yeah, so I'm manager, people data about my team, what I'm paying attention for. So I'm definitely paying attention for yesterday I also got a question about the sick leaves. Yeah. So with pandemic, so there was a trend when people overuses it, to spend some time outside work. Yeah. So this kind of absence, yeah, and put it like this, presence at work, yeah. So then the second thing that we were, I'm really curious about. So how do people feel about the strategy, yeah? And we have some kind of a questionnaire in people data, yeah. So the third thing when it comes to the teams, it's of course the number of people, it's like, let's put a turnover, if there is a turnover, yeah. So if people are leaving the organization, yeah, or they're staying, then of course when it comes to big companies, so this kind of a rate of internal hires, it's also important, yeah. So how we are able to create a space for development for people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most important. So it's kind of no surprises. The only thing that what we are doing, in pandemic state, so we try to be focused more on people well-being, trying to ask them about their emotional feelings, and try to understand what are they afraid of. For example, some kind of, you remember, we were talking about remote working, yeah, and there were several people who started to shout also that they need to get back to the office and we need to reopen the office because they're not able to work from home anymore. However, there were also several people who told me I would never get back to the office because I'm afraid of using public transportation. Yeah. So, and that is something, insights from associate that are coming, that is very important. Well, when it comes to some kind of HR metrics, they're still, the same. So no news here, you will be using the same one. But during the change curve and pandemic, you need to listen to your associate and you need to listen, what do they feel? Because it will be the biggest predictive how they will behave later on and if you are going to lose them or not. And please do not assume what they will feel. So it's better to ask than to assume.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yana, thank you very much for your wonderful insights. Actually, you being a HR senior manager and actually sharing with us like everything in aspects of hybrid working, people analytics, maybe like one very, very last question because we're short of time, unfortunately. So what do you think, like, again, like from your experience, from Mark's experience, like you being a senior HR team member, which actions did you undertake to make sure that your people are concentrated when they need to be concentrated, or your people are not distracted when they don't need to be distracted? So how do you manage the team, basically? Few tips.
And like we discussed it in when I was doing some kind of presentation. First of all, you need to identify ground rules for your team. And so when you are focusing on kind of when you will have the focus time, when you have a collaboration time and whatever. And the most important thing, so right now it's not even, I'm not a kind of HR person, I'm right now I'm in the role of, let's put it like line manager, senior manager. And what is important here, so that is the way how you protect your team, so how you filter the information that are coming, so to be in a booster for them, yeah. So try to understand what should come to them, what should not, because you will get different feedback, you will get different conflicting priorities, and the ability, to sort it out, what is the work that matters the most, it's important. Otherwise your team members will be constantly bombarded with different ad hoc activities that other people are asking because they're working with their agenda. And what this is kind of an art, to balance, priorities of different team, like other team members cross-functionally. So okay, so we are talking about right now our team. So let's agree what are our top priorities for now. And it should not be 27 items, yeah, because it's not possible to manage it. We know it, that there is a span of control. So it's about, focusing on the work that matters the most. The items, what the work that matters the most should be very, very, very much clear. And if, you have additional requests for your team members, so it's also very good to make the situation when you first have an overview what your team members are being asked, especially if you're sitting in the middle of everything. So like I'm telling, my team is connecting the dots, yeah, so they're working as a Nokia. So you need to understand with whom they are working, and also if there is a need to reestablish and reconstruct priorities, be able to open this discussion even with senior leaders. So, okay, right now we cannot work with it because we do not know what is the importance. So please look, there is our list, there is priority that we agreed. So there is 3 more to come. So what should we exclude from here and put from here? Yeah. Yeah, it's like something that we call crucial conversation, but they should happen.
Yana, just people don't want to let you go. So now I promise, this is the very last question anyway. So what, if any, app do you use to be in touch with remote employees? So people are asking, maybe Slack or something else. What is common in your company, or what do you use personally?
So in company, so the kind of a regular tool for us for asynchronized working and for synchronized also, so it's Microsoft Teams. That is something that we're using, yeah. So we also have WhatsApp group, yeah. It's not kind of a rule, but that is something that we decide is good for us. Yeah. And when it comes to interactions and to make some things interesting, but in Teams you can also have this kind of a group discussion if you need, but we also use a tool that called Slido that can help you to make your presentation interactive, to build some kind of a fun there, to add some quizzes, to make some kind of interesting quest and whatever. So it's good application, to keep people active. That's important, yeah. So I tried to do it in one of our courses, an HR director course. It also was very, very good perceived. So if you want, to somehow work with the people dynamics, so definitely you need to use something like this, like Slido or whatever, helps you to work with the big audience, to keep them busy.
Okay. Yana, just now, finally, thank you very much, for your day and
my pleasure
time with us. It was really very interactive discussion, many questions as well. So now we just let you go. I remind everyone that we were with Yana, who is our service in the Yana Martyanova, who is our service and operations lead Europe and Middle East and Mars. And thank you again. So we will send you the materials. We will, for those who are very active with us and who do the posts for the presentation for our conference, we will send Yana's presentation and the toolbox, which will also combine based on your answers. So thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the day. Many interesting things to come.
Thank you very much, Yana. Bye.